Changes are coming to college football. No, I'm not talking about the NIL deals. I'm not talking about the crazy free agency period that the transfer portal has turned into. I'm talking about conference realignment. And the conference that is at the head of that realignment is the Big 12. The Big 12 is looking to add U of H, BYU, Cincinnati, and UCF to their conference as Texas and Oklahoma depart for the SEC. Here's the problem. We don't really know when all this movement is going to take place. According to the Big 12, beginning July 1st, 2025, there's going to be 12 universities in the conference, 12 teams in the Big 12. But in between, from 2022 to 2025, we don't know what's going down. When are Oklahoma and Texas going to leave? Are they going to leave before these new 4 teams are added in? Are they going to buy themselves out of their Big 12 contract? The reality of the matter is that the Big 12 might have 14 teams for a couple seasons. 14 teams means you need to divide your conference into divisions, just like the old Big 12. And that leaves us with the question, how do you divide up a 14-team Big 12 conference? So I did a little bit of brainstorming, put together a map and 3 different options for a temporary 14-team Big 12 conference. Our first option is Texas and Oklahoma versus all, and that sounds exactly like what it is. You could also call this the old Big 12 split because the original South Division teams, Tech, Texas, Baylor, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State are in their own division. Then Kansas State, Kansas, and Iowa State are in their separate division. Here we basically make some simple substitutions of old Big 12 teams. Texas A&M, which was originally in the South, we replaced with U of H. Colorado, which was in the North, we replaced with BYU. Nebraska, which was also in the North, we replaced with Cincinnati. And then Missouri, an old school North team, we replaced with UCF. Now, geographically, this doesn't make much sense, but again, we're just trying to replace those old school North teams with another team. West Virginia remains in the top division, and then TCU remains in the bottom division. Now, I know you can't really call it North and South because of UCF, but I'm sure the Big 12 could go the route of the Big 10 when they originally expanded and make up names like Leaders or Legends. Just something better. I will say what I do like about this split is at the bottom you get to keep all the rivalries of those Texas and Oklahoma schools. Now the top gets a little tricky, and it's probably not going to be great for BYU to be traveling to UCF and vice versa every single year. But again, it's just an option. Our second option is the Big 12 North and South. Bring back the North and South divisions in the Big 12, giving it that old school feel, just split it geographically. Now the only problem separating these geographically is Oklahoma State's in the North and OU's in the South. Now, they could still protect the rivalry, and Oklahoma State might actually like this, considering they're not too happy with OU for just jumping ship without any warning. But a geographic split logically makes sense. I don't know how we'd feel about splitting up the state of Oklahoma, but hey, sometimes you have to do things you don't like, and it's only a couple years. Finally, I have the OU Texas split, because the Big 12 is really happy that these schools are leaving, so they're going to base their entire division split on 2 teams that are on their way out. Now, the good thing about this for the Big 12 is that when Oklahoma and Texas leave, you don't need to make any divisional changes. You don't need to move any teams around like you would with the other 2 splits. Now, outside of that, does this make any sense? Not really. Texas and OU are in different divisions. Tech is in a different division than the other Texas schools, which also feels kind of weird. You do get to keep rivalries like Kansas and K-State and OU and OSU, but outside of that, this just doesn't really seem too practical. Plus, I highly doubt the Big 12 is going to make their entire division system based off of Texas and Oklahoma when they'll be gone in a couple years. Let me know in the comment section how you would split a 14-team Big 12. Now, this might not even happen. Oklahoma and Texas might leave sooner rather than later, and we could be looking at an 8-team Big 12 moving to a 12-team Big 12 in the future. But I will say, even a couple years of a 14-team Big 12 conference would be pretty interesting, and I'd be curious to see how it played out. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, hit subscribe for more college football content. Again, throw some comments in there. I love responding to comments and seeing what y'all think about this whole situation. College football is changing. Conferences are changing. NIL, I mean, it's the Wild West out there, and it's going to be fun to cover. As always, have a great day. See y'all at the next one.